I'm tired of the other women. I'm tired of him using me. For 2 months, I didn't even hear from you. Where were you?
I'm overwhelmed, man. I love you.
Fooled me once, shame on you. Fooled me twice, shame on me. He fooled you about 50 times.
We are a financial disaster because of him.
Divorce doesn't exist where I'm from.
Neither one of you is wrong for having your opinions, but it just makes you wrong for each other. There's been a huge breach of trust, according to you.
She was on the fast with the pastor. She sent her pictures with a smoothie of straw in her mouth and a sausage McMuffin. Can I eat this, pastor? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hold on, why you gotta send pictures with it?
Here is today's case.
This wife caught her husband of 19 and a half years with his hand in the wrong cookie jar. Will this marriage survive the betrayal? That's today's case on Divorce Court.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, our virtual audience is filled with your superfans. Today's superfan of the day is Mike from Harlem, New York.
Welcome to Divorce Court, Mike. We're so happy to have you with us.
Your Honor, this is the case of Johnson versus Johnson.
Thank you, Juan. Miss Jenny Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have brought your husband, Mr. James Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor.
To divorce court today. The two of you have been married for 19 and a half years, a long time, but you've had a number of issues throughout the course of your marriage, and you say you've reached the end of your rope.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're trying to decide today whether to stay married or move forward.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll start with you, ma'am. Why don't you give me some background?
Well, like you said, we've been married for almost 20 years now, and for the most part, our marriage has been really great. I mean, for a good 15 years, things have been really good. But the last 3 years, he's done a number of times where he's, I keep finding him on the internet, wanting to join these dating sites and soliciting girls for sex. A lot of situations. Okay.
So that's the main issue. He's been on dating sites and talking to other women.
Yes.
So what do you have to say about that, Mr. Johnson?
Well, I will agree and say I'm guilty of that, you know, on a few different occasions, and not saying it's right, but that's all it was just talking to them and never led to anything else.
And you didn't see anything wrong with that?
I shouldn't have done it. I know that, and I'm not saying it was right, but I did, and you know, I would just like to at least be able to work through this and, you know, get through onto the next. I mean, like I said, 20 years is a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I mean, I love my wife and I don't want a divorce, but we just have two different visions, two different opinions of things, and trying to come to an agreement with those isn't the easiest.
Okay.
Your Honor, he says has a couple times, I've got over 50 conversations of very graphic conversations where the chances of him not meeting up with them, I mean, maybe he didn't meet up with all of them, but I mean, the majority of them he did.
You think he actually met up with these women?
Well, listening to the conversations, and to be honest, Your Honor, even if he hadn't met up with them, the things he has said to these women is enough of a violation to me. You don't talk to girls in that manner when you're married. There's a situation where I was looking through his browser history, and I'd heard he had done talk text to a girl, and I heard what he had to say. There was like 32 texts. I mean, we had sex that morning, and by 9 o'clock in the morning, he went to work, and he's talking to a girl off the social media. Can't wait to do this and that to her. I mean, I heard him say it, his own voice.
So where was he when you heard him?
He was at work.
How did you overhear him at work?
I was on the internet. I was looking at the history.
Oh, okay.
Which I understand that's not something, you know, you shouldn't go looking into somebody's phone. But a few years back, I was helping him with some paperwork with the college. And when I signed onto his email, up popped a confirmation for him joining the site.
Oh, no.
Up until that point, I had never suspected a thing out of him. 10 years at that point, I mean, well past 10 years. And so that was the first time I came across the situations.
Mr. Johnson, she overheard a conversation. Do you deny?
That was one day to a person I'd never met before. I still haven't never met them, and never talked to them again.
But do you understand I see you and hear you drawing the distinction and saying you've never actually gone through and met up with any of these women. But do you understand why it's problematic that it appears you're making plans to?
Oh, yeah, completely. And if you're gonna go in looking for that and that's what you want to find, then, you know, I'm gonna show it to you. I mean, because every time I turn around, she's...
So that's why you were doing it, because you wanted to show it to her? You wanted to show that to her?
That's what I wanted, apparently.
It just, you know, I was, as far as looking through my phone and going through, and I call her Dick Tracy. You know, I mean, because she investigates everything all the time. I mean, from the time she walks into a room to the time she leaves, it's just scanning everything, wanting to, and it always seems to me like she's just wanting to find something I did wrong, something else that I've done.
The problem is she's finding these things.
No,
so my question to you is
she has found these things, and there hasn't been anything
I stopped looking
recent in the last 3 years.
Let me ask you this. What changed for you? You said that all of a sudden a few years ago things changed. What changed for you? Why did you start reaching out to these other women?
Boredom, I suppose.
Have you ever thought about watching a movie?
Right, yeah. You know, I just...
Getting some new hobbies.
That would probably be a healthier choice, yes.
But you said that it's gone beyond him just talking.
Yes.
And there's a specific incident you wanted to tell me about.
Yes, well, then there's the time where I came across his email where he had been talking to a hooker. And there was a couple days where they had been talking, and I came in the middle of the conversation, and I said, hey, look, the wife knows now, obviously, so...
You respond to the message?
Yes, I responded to that kind of in the middle of their email and said, the wife knows now, so you guys don't have to sneak around and hide anymore. I mean, you ruined 20 years, but I'm sure you've ruined more lives than that, you know, in the past. And he left for work the next morning, and the first thing he did was responded to her and said, sorry, that was my wife. How much and where can we meet?
This unknown person, a woman, writes, you got the cash, I got the time.
I mean, I've never went and met up with anyone for sex, anything, never paid for it.
The man that I married would never have done that.
What?
I thought, Your Honor. And then, okay, so I read that, and I
why
just
would
was
I say that?
floored. I have the conversation, actually, I have it still, the whole conversation.
Great.
Let me see the emails you submitted to court. This unknown person, a woman, writes, you got the cash, I got the time, be there in a few hours, let me know if you're likable to meet. You respond, sir, this is your email, I'm on my way now. And she responds, yes, I'm in an old blue van. So where were you on your way to?
I don't know. I don't
who
know
is she?
ever being on my way. I mean, I've never went and met up with anyone for sex, anything, never paid for it.
So you're just pretending like you're going to meet up with these women, but you're not actually doing it.
No, I'm not actually ever meeting up with anybody, and it's...
So when you say you're on your way to meet them, what, are you just lying and not showing up?
Yeah, I don't know where I would have been on my way to.
Okay.
And, but Your Honor, after this, it came in another an email from her that said, asked if he was around again, and I got it, and so I responded, how much? And she said the same as last time.
I never went and met up. I never paid her for anything. So, but she did give me, so to say, a price quote, I guess. My understanding of it would have been the same as the first time.
Mr. Johnson, so you're here today to tell me you're just getting quotes. You're just gathering quotes.
It wasn't. I'm not out. It's not like auto insurance, or I'm not out. You know.
These are your
doing
words,
anything
not
like
mine,
that.
sir.
I mean,
I think because the only way around sort of these messages, you're only out, you feel like, is to say, okay, I'm caught. I have the messages. I know what it looks like, but it's not really that. I never actually did anything.
I could tell her that till I'm blue in the face, and it doesn't matter what my answer to anything is.
Yeah, because the words say otherwise.
She'll ask me something, and I will explain to her or give her an answer, and that's not good enough. It's whatever she decides or feels is the answer, and regardless of what I say.
Because you can fill in the blanks here, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist.
No, it
to
doesn't,
do so.
and you know, I understand that, but how can I be supposedly going out and meeting these people when I'm sitting right next to her the whole time?
I think that's the big breakdown in what the two of you see as infidelity and what your definition of being unfaithful is. You have two very different definitions. You're saying because she can't prove I actually met up and did the things I was planning to do with the quotes that I had received for the services that we talked about, then I really didn't do anything wrong. And she's saying it is completely disrespectful that you are even engaging in these women in this
that's
manner.
right, but
and that in and of itself is enough for me to say, you're not committed to our marriage, you're not respecting me, you're not being monogamous, and that's why you're here in divorce court.
But at the same time, I'm not the only one doing it.
Who else is doing it?
Well, she's doing it at the same time. I mean, there's been times where she's been unfaithful, you know, and she hasn't. She told me about it.
Your Honor, I did find a guy came along and it made me realize I wasn't happy. I was happy. James has always known the truth from the beginning. It wasn't something I was out looking for. It came across, and all of a sudden I was happy and realized I'd been pretending to be happy for a long time. And I told James that, look, I don't want to go back to being unhappy.
Do you still want to be married?
Not like this. I can't trust him anymore. He's done so many things the last 3 years, and he looks me in the face and tells me that it's my fault. I'm making it up. He tells me I'm making it up.
If you'd like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Miss the show? Watch full episodes on our streaming platforms and follow us on social media for exclusive content. I want to ask you about an incident you described. It happened last year.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you were in your home and an incident occurred where people tried to show up and rob your house.
Yes, Your Honor. Our roommate, had passed away unexpectedly.
Mm-hmm.
It was right before the COVID thing came out, and so we didn't really know about COVID at the time, but I'm pretty sure that's what got him. But yeah, 3 guys in masks had showed up with a gun and a trailer wanting to come do a home invasion. And I was having a bad day. Yes, I was home. And it was a bad day. My roommate just died, and me and him had been fighting dramatically. And so I didn't really care about getting shot. I flipped out on these people. You know, you're getting out of here, nobody's taking nothing, and then you go. And so they ultimately didn't get anything. They were good friends of ours, we thought, before this.
You knew who these people were when they showed up?
And then about a month later, I ended up moving into a place just outside of where we lived there. And I showed up there one night, and I was just really distressed. And he had that girl that had showed up there to rob us in my house.
One of the would-be robbers?
Yes.
Well, no.
There was 3 guys, and then there was a girl that was mainly behind it. One of the guys' girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he went and picked her up and took her to my house. Like, he took her there. She didn't know where I lived or none of that. And he took her into my house. When I got there, she had wet hair. Like, she just got out of the shower. I mean,
so what did that mean to you when you saw all of this? What did you
that was
interpret
the
that to mean?
ultimate betrayal. I mean, I don't feel safe around the guy anymore. Because this girl brought guys a month earlier to my house to rob me with a gun. Like, that's pretty crazy.
So what is your relationship with this woman?
I don't have a continued relationship with her.
Why would you be hanging out with someone who showed up to rob you?
I don't know, Your Honor. It's about her telling me that what I have is only because of her, and that I don't achieve or gain anything of my own, and yet at the same time I am helping her out.
Did you know about this robbery? Were you in on it?
No, I walked
Honor.
around the corner as I was coming from a garage, and when it took place, and I walked around the corner and seen as the gun got pulled on her, and I mean, there wasn't anything I could do. I didn't know it was coming. She didn't know it was coming.
Here's what you don't do. You don't start hanging out with the robbers after the fact. That's what you don't do.
Your Honor. Yep.
Well, I think we've established that there was some kind of relationship for whatever reason that Mr. Johnson started or had with one of these robbers. Here we are, 19 and a half years later. Do you still want to be married?
Not like this. I can't trust him anymore. He's done so many things the last 3 years, and he looks me in the face and tells me that it's my fault. I'm making it up. He tells me I'm making it up.
No, I never say you're making it up.
But dude, if he's gonna take somebody to my house that has had a gun pulled on me, I mean, that to me, I feel like my life gets in danger, you know? The man that I married would never have done that.
What?
I thought, Your Honor. I'm starting to believe that this has been the man that I've married, but he was really good at making sure that I didn't see it for a long time.
Mr. Johnson, I have to ask you this. Did the two of you agree to have this clean slate and really try again to make your marriage work? Was that the agreement between the two of you?
I don't know what the agreement of a clean slate.
Yes.
At one time, yes.
Okay.
At one time.
So, okay.
But
so you also said that nothing, like all of the things that she was talking about was from prior to 3 years, more than 3 years ago. But then I find out last year about this robbery and this woman that you're hanging out with afterwards who was a part of a posse that tried to rob you at gunpoint. Why are you doing this? What has happened?
the only reason that any of that ever transpired is because she's trying to tell me who I can be friends with and who I can talk to and who I don't. I've never in 20 years pried into her business, told her
That's not true.
who she can, talk to, be around, whatever. And, why can't it do the same? I mean.
So, Mr. Johnson, obviously, if those are the issues, if you're having issues around control, what you can't do is stay in the marriage to punish her or to do things out of spite or to do things because you're angry. Because I'm going to tell you something. This is getting dangerous. Whatever it is, whatever happening, whatever this game is, it has now gotten dangerous. Juan, what do they tell you when you were a police officer for many years? Someone pulls a gun, you don't pull it unless what?
Unless you're gonna be willing to use it.
Someone threatened her life at gunpoint. You showing up with this person at her house a month later, that is beyond the level of just you being upset because she's trying to control you in the relationship. This person could have killed her, and this woman was a part of that posse. I am not going to sit here in good conscience today, sir. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to advise her to try to make this work because I think it's dangerous. I think it's gone beyond that.
Thank you, Your
And it's a safety issue. You're talking about she's trying to control me. This woman was a part of a posse that pointed a gun at her face.
But the woman didn't do it.
So, and I'm gonna tell you something about the way the law works. I don't know why the two of you didn't proceed forward going to the police about this, but I'm gonna tell you, the law does not proportion guilt. She is just as guilty as every other person that came and tried to rob her. She may as well have had the gun in her hand. And by the way, she doesn't care who had the gun. The fact that all of them were there for the same reason and the same purpose is what matters. And I cannot advise her to continue and move forward and try to make this work because this is dangerous. So if she wants to move forward and separate from you after this incident, I would advise her to do so for her own safety and her own well-being. Good luck to you.
I would too.
Well, that's the first time you've agreed with me in this case.
When it comes to Judge Faye's advice, I think it's best for me to move out of the marriage. I can't say I want to because the world doesn't seem right. I've lived with him longer than I haven't lived with him. He's the only family I got, and it's hard to walk away from that.
Well, as far as her advice, I can't say I disagree with it. It's probably healthier for the both of us, to go our different ways. And it is hard because we have been together and it's been just the two of us for so long, but it's just gotten to be toxic.